Hello everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Molly and I do book content here on YouTube. I do mostly fiction with that is a mixture of Christian and non-Christian. So yeah, you'll see the odd bit of non-fiction too, but mostly you won't. I get through that a bit slower because I take my time with those. So today I am taking part in a book tag. Now this is actually a completely new one. It's a completely original new idea by this lovely lady who I watch called Essie. She recently changed her channel name, so I think she's called the Novel Honey Bookshelf, something like that. I'll put the name on the screen, but she's changed her name. And what she has done, which is very cool, is she's created a tag to go along with her new name. So the tag, if I'm remembering it correctly, is called the Novel Honey Bookshelf. No, the Novel Honey Shelf Book Tag. Again, I can't remember it properly, and basically the information is on my phone, but I film on my phone. I don't recommend it. So yeah, either way, I'll write it down properly on the screen, as well as obviously down below it in the description. So thank you, Essie, for this cool new tag you've made. She's not tagged me specifically, although she did tag some people. But it's for anyone who watches her videos and wants to join in for them to do. So I am going to get started. There are, is it 11 questions? Yeah, there's 12 questions. So yes, let's see if how long this will take. So just to preface, she has done a video which I will try and link down below, explaining each questions and what they mean, because like a lot of these questions there's like a word or a sentence to kind of describe it. So for example, she's got one called hive, which obviously is a bee related word, and that's what all of these are. They're all related to bees and bee related stuff. So she will explain in her video what some of them mean if you don't know what they mean, because there'll be some here that I don't remember, or from her video that I don't remember what she said, and also I just don't know them. So yeah, now that I've explained all that, let's get started. So question 1 is brood. Your favourite child or children in literature? So I have a few, and it is usually, I find they're my favourites at the time. So it's always like an increasing list, kind of like with, in general, your favourite characters. So to start with, I'm going to start with this book. Now, to be fair, this is a series, so she does grow older. So she starts off as a child, but then, becomes a young adult / adult. And that is Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables. I just love her. I feel like I can relate to her. She's very whimsical and imaginative, and she's just very much like me. So yeah, except it's put into words, because most of what I experience is just in my head. So when I hear it written out in these books, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what that is, right? That's how I am, right? So yeah, we've got that one. The next one for my favourite children is the two main characters in the A Murder Most Unladylike mystery series, and that is the two girls, Hazel and Daisy. I love them, seeing their dynamics with each other as they're growing older and going through new experiences, because at the start of this I think they're like 12, wait no, this doesn't take part in a year, so maybe about 13, They're currently about 14 in this book. This is the most recent one that I have read. And I think it mentions they're about 14 in this. So yeah, so they're quite young, teenagers, and yeah, I just really enjoy reading them. I enjoy the detective sort of knowledge stuff that they have, you know, how they're figuring things out. They both seem to be really clever, so, and it's funny seeing how much they're like Sherlock and Watson as well, so that's fun. I would say that's it. Another one from the Anne of Green Gables series, although he's not in this particular book, is, oh no, I had this conversation in my last video, Davy, who is one of the two kids that Marilla adopts when Anne is like a older teenager, young adult. Marilla adopts two more kids, and yeah, I really love Davy. I mean, he's very cheeky and mischievous. You know, he would need a lot of teaching. But and that's kind of what I like about him. And he's very curious and inquisitive, and you know, and it's the way he asks about questions. You know, how he always says, "Oh, I want to know," and it's just so sweet, and I just love it. So he's another one of my favourite child/children in literature. But yeah, it's an ever-growing list. Question 2. Drone. Your favourite male character in a book. And kind of like with the children, there's loads of answers. You know, I could say I really like, trying to think of someone now. Really like Gilbert, or, you know, I really like Freddie from the Freddie and Grace mystery series by Pepper Basham. I do really like him, actually. He is one of my favourites. And also Elliot, who plays the valet, not plays, it's not a film, who is the valet in the book. I really love him as well. I love his reactions to Grace. Because he's trying to be, you know, this typical, you know, early 1900s sort of stoic servant, you know, working in a big mansion, sort of straight-laced sort of guy, you know. And there's Grace. And anyone who's read at least one of the books, if not all 3 or whatever, will attest to that. It's yeah, I just love that. So I love him. Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts. I mean, it just depends, you know. Yeah, it's an ever-growing list, and I feel like I'm going to be saying that a lot. 3. Hive. A house/home in literature that you find memorable. And there's quite a few of them. I always find the Rochester house in Jane Eyre, I always find that memorable with the descriptions and how foreboding it looks. She talks about when she first sees it, and it's like seeing the background of the sky behind it and this big massive gloomy house. I'm trying to think. Also the little cottage/house in Anne of Green Gables. I can just imagine what it might have looked like. So that's memorable. And also some of the houses in like the Little Women series by Louisa May Alcott. Yeah, I find the descriptions for the houses for that quite memorable as well, especially the house that ends up being given to Jo by Aunt March. But yeah, her house. Yeah, it just depends. It's those really. But I mean, there will end up being more the more I read. So yeah, I'd say those. 4. Orientation Flight. A memorable coming of age character. So there's a few. There's one that I've already mentioned. I would say Anne. And I kind of class her as part of the coming of age, because even in just the first book, she grows older. So I would kind of call that coming of age. So I would definitely say Anne from Anne of Green Gables. But I would also say the March sisters, and I don't know if just one stands out. Really, they all do in their own ways. I guess probably, I think most people, myself included, will probably say people like Jo and Beth, because their characters especially are memorable, because Jo is sort of the main character, and then Beth is, well, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's not read it, although it's quite old, so I guess there's probably no need to worry about spoiling it, I guess. But, you know, Beth, her character is really memorable. I mean, not just because of what ends up happening, but also because of her personality as well. You know, she's, yeah. So I would probably say them too, but also all of them as well, all of the sisters. And I would count them as coming of age because they're all quite young. Maybe less so Meg, the eldest. But even Meg, I mean, with the way ages that people were getting married in those days, she might still count as coming of age. But certainly in particular, like Jo and Beth. Well, less Beth really, but certainly, you know, Jo and Amy, especially them two. So yeah, there's not really any others that I can think of. Because a lot of the sort of maybe the more coming of age type of books that I read were when I was a lot younger, so most of those I don't really remember, so they might have been memorable to me at the time, but just not anymore. Okay, question 5, Waggle Dance. A book you love so much it makes you want to dance. And then there's a bonus prompt / question of, you have to do the dance. Ooh. It's a good thing you can only see the top of me because I can't dance. I am not a dancer. So, okay, books that make me want to dance, it varies. It's often ones that I have recently read that I really enjoy. Most of them are books that I have already shown you. So things like Little Women really excite me. Obviously Anne and Anne of Green Gables, certainly with the first 3 because I've not read the whole series, but yeah, certainly things like that. But in terms of books I have just read, because there is one I recently finished that definitely made me like that, and that is The Cairo Curse by Pepper Basham, which is the sequel to The Mistletoe Countess. Both are in the Freddie and Grace mystery series, and I have to say the first one made me dance as well. But this is the most recent one, so I'm going to count this one, because I just love the characters. Love the characters. And yeah, I'm just really excited. So I guess I'm going to have to show you the dance. So, you know, I apologise if I make any of you faint in horror. And I know realistically that probably won't happen, but still. But yeah, I think my short dance would be like, that sort of thing. Because let's be honest, it's not proper dancing, you know. But it's the sort of thing that I would end up doing, so it's accurate. Question 6, June Gap. Your favourite summertime book. Now, I don't have favourite books for particular seasons necessarily, other than like a general sort of like, you know, Christmas books at Christmas sort of general thing, topic thing. So I don't really have a favourite summertime book. So I can't really answer that. I guess it just depends on what I read. I did try and read seasonally, but I wouldn't say there's any favourite summertime books, because I would kind of call that something that I might reread a lot each summer or something like that, or an author that I would specifically read in the summer or something. And I don't have an answer for any of those, so yeah. Question 7. Honeycomb. Show your book storage and your organisation. And what I'll do for that is I'll do a separate clip. Okay, so this is my bookshelf. This is the bookshelf I have in my living room. And this is very close up. Hang on. Oh, that's a bit better. Okay. So these are my 3 shelves of books. It's just a quick overview first. And basically this first shelf of books is my Bible related stuff. This is my current Bible that I use for my Bible studying and journaling. And then these are my resources, these 3 here. That's Bible Dictionary, and these are a commentary set which Faith from How to Faith for Life has recommended for like new, for people who are new and who don't have money to spend on whole book sets on them. This is my current non-Christian non-fiction. This is about the slaves, women and homosexual texts in the Bible and kind of just applying them to our modern day. I'm going through it slowly. I kind of do it after my Bible study. I read about 3 pages and it's been very interesting so far. These 2 notebooks here I have used mostly for my Bible related stuff, and then this is my current daily journal. It's kind of faded there, but it's a daily prayer and there you go, daily prayer and gratitude journal that I got off of Amazon. So yeah, this is my old Bible I've used. It's a women's study Bible. I didn't necessarily buy it because of the whole for women thing. It was more because I liked the way it was set up with how they did like the study notes and stuff. Then these 3 are all different, again, different Christian Bible related stuff. Obviously that's for Lent. Then I've got one C.S. Lewis, I've got a Joyce Meyer, and one about how to talk about Jesus. And then this is another Bible study type thing which I started years ago, but I've not continued. And then this is my bullet journal for this year, and this is my reading journal. And then I've also like keeping all the pens and stuff because I don't really have any good storage yet. But then these are most of my other non-fictions. I've got one, I kept this Zoe Silk one because there's some nice recipes, and then a couple of drawing and writing ones, although I've not really done any of those. And then these pink and blue journals here are my bullet journals from last year and year before. Then this is my previous gratitude journal that I used last year, and I think for some of, no, only in January, so yeah, mostly last year. And then this is an old a art book, so it's a notebook for drawing and stuff, so there's no lines or anything. Oh, and I forgot, this is just a pack of open-ended cards. I don't really like the artwork on them though. They're a little bit old person-y, but they're useful for the old people in my life, I guess. And then this is the notebook that I was given in high school, and for my birthday, I had stuff in from friends at the time. And then this is an old picture that we found at my dad's of the said booktuber, and that's me somewhere during Christmas, as you can see by the stocking. I'm not sure where I was. I think it might have been my grandparents on my mum's side or something, I don't know. And this is a little holder that I have kept, like some pens that I use for my bullet journals and for my gratitude journal, and a book holder whilst I'm reading books. I don't really use that much though. And then down here, this is my unread shelf. There is space at the back as well, so I'll use that the more books I get. But these are all my unreads. These are all my secular ones. There was a classic, but I'm counting it as secular because classics aren't necessarily Christian necessarily. And then I've got this box set of children's literature that I talked about, and these are the 1994 Wordsworth ones. There's the Railway Children. I've not actually read any of these apart from Secret Garden, but that was a different version cover, and I've read Little Women and Alice in Wonderland, again different copies, but I've not read the rest. And then these are what's left of some of my Christian books. Christian fiction. I've got a big bag of them upstairs as well. And then this is a notebook that is in the shape of the letter M that my mum bought me years and years ago. I don't really use it, but Ali uses it as like a little sort of ornament type thing, showing my name, I guess. And then down here is my red shelf. So this has books at the back as well. I'll just show you a brief glimpse of them. There they are. There's some books down there. If you can see, it's a bit dark, but there we go. You'll just have to take my word for it. I've got books at the back, so I've got a couple of longer series up there. That is the School for Good and Evil. And then I've got some by the Spanish author that I love, Carlos Ruiz Zafón. They're not necessarily series, although some of them that are in that pile are interconnected, but then others are just standalones. Then at the back here, these light coloured books here, they are most of the Little Women series. It's the first 3 books, and I've got the 4th one upstairs because I've not read it yet. And then behind this bag is the Murder, Most and Ladylike series, and I love the colours. So colourful. And then in front of these are the rest of, so far, of the books I have read. So as you can see, these are all just standalones really, apart from this one, which is part of the Melanie Cellier interconnected series of fairy tale retellings. This is the Little Mermaid one. I bought it for the first readathon I ever took part in. They're all interconnected, so I didn't necessarily need to read them in order, so I was okay with reading it, but I normally wouldn't do that. But yeah, these are the rest of them. These are mostly secular, sort of mainstream, but then I've got a few of my Christian books that I have read. One of them I read donkeys ago, and this was before I was even a Christian, and that was a book about fallen angels, and that has the Book of Enoch in it, and then before and after there's, I think, essentially just a commentary. And then I've got a couple of non-fiction Christian books, another Joyce Meyer, which I also have another one of hers somewhere, but I can't remember where it is, that I have read as well. And then a little book on how to pray by John Pritchard. And then this other book that you'll have seen from a readathon I took part in, if you've seen any of those other videos, is Divine Mystique, which is written by a friend of my grandma's. So that's all those. And then I've got my little bag that again is also to do with faith, from How to Pray for Life. And this would normally have my Bible stuff from up there, those 4 books there, and they would be put in there if I'm going out, mainly just to the garden because it's very heavy, so I don't actually leave the house with them other than to my garden. But I also keep my Bible, journaling, pens and stuff. I've got some out there, and I've got some in this little pouch here, and then in there I've got other pens like my Sharpies and stuff, and they're just in, like, you know, pencil case type things. So yeah, that's it. And then obviously these are the stuff to do with my little brother, just school, homeschool stuff, and college course stuff. They're all old, so they're not in use, and I'm just keeping a hold of them for now. So yeah, that is my shelf. So yeah, that's my storage. Question 8. Colony. Your favourite family / found family in literature. So this will be a work in progress, of course, and I know I'm sounding like, you know, a broken record, but obviously there's Anne of Green Gables, favourite found family / family, because Marilla and Matthew are siblings. But obviously Anne isn't either their birth child, so. Then there's the March family and what comes out of them, like from their other relationships, you know, when most of the sisters marry and have their own kids sort of thing, their families as well in connection. So they're another, you know, favourite family. Yeah, the only other one is, which is kind of found family, I guess, in some ways, but it's also more marrying into the family in terms of the character, and that is Grace and Freddie's, you know, family of sorts, and I'm kind of including like the staff as well, like, you know, the valet, the maids, you know, housekeeper if there is one, you know, all of that stuff, certainly so far. But yeah, especially so far, the two of them and their valet, Elliot, in particular, because you see more of them. Ignore that. Okay, so I'll just cut that out. I basically just gave you a decently big spoiler there. Sorry. Whoops. But there's a couple of characters in this book as well, and the first book. One character each in those that is also found family, especially in this one. So yeah, I would probably say this series as well. And that's it for now that I can think of. There might be others that I've forgotten, and there'll certainly be some in the future that I'll add to. But yeah, they're the ones that I can think of. Question 9. Extraction. Talk about a book you have unhauled or DNF'd. So there's a few I've unhauled. I'm not going to talk about those, but I will talk about the recent book that I have DNF'd. Now I don't want to talk too much because I'll be talking about it in my wrap up, because this is one for this month of January that I DNF'd, and that is Robin Hood by Henry Gilbert. I just couldn't get into it. It was too slow. Question 10. Queen Bee. Your favourite fictional female or historical female from before the 1900s. And that's the recent ones, you know. AD and all that. Yeah. Basically all of the above that I've just mentioned. I realised I can't say Grace because the stories are set in like 1913, 1914. Definitely in the 1900s. But I can just about say Anne of Green Gables because I think this is set in the 1800s, like late 1800s. But it still counts, okay? It still counts. And obviously, you know, the Little Women sisters, the mum as well. But I don't know when this is set, but this is set around when the Civil War is taking place in America. So you Americans will know more about it. I know she was born in 1832, the author, so I'm assuming it's probably set in the 1800s. So yeah, I'm assuming this is set in a similar sort of time. All of them as well, like not even just necessarily one female character in particular, just all four of them. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stick to the fictional ones. And there's probably more fictional females from before the 1900s. But yeah, I mean, there are the biblical ones. But I know there's always contention from people going, oh, well, you know, they might not be real. They might just be characters based on someone, you know, or whatever. But I mean, you know, I do have favourite female historical figures in the Bible. You know, I mean, there's Ruth, there's Esther, you know, there's obviously Mary, Jesus' mother, and oh, yeah, probably more. So, yeah, I'll just say all those for now. Question 11. Bee bread. A food mentioned in a book that you would love to make or eat. Or both, I assume. There's probably loads, but the one that really sticks out to me is the ice cream that's mentioned in Little Women. I feel like it might have been strawberry ice cream. If it isn't, that's fine, but that's always what I imagine, so I assume it's strawberry. But yeah, definitely that, and not necessarily making it, but definitely eating it. Yeah. There's probably others, I just can't think of it. But there's probably more, let's be honest. Okay, question 12. Granulation. The book you've left unread the longest. So I don't have any that I can think of in particular recently. But what did used to be on my shelf as a child that I never really read was actually Little Women. And I only got to this in 2023, I think. Something like that. And this is a different copy. This wasn't the copy that I got when I was a child, but yeah, well, you know, the cover. But so I would probably say this, really. There's no others that I can think of. Certainly non-recent ones. There might be some that are packed away somewhere where I'm like, oh, that could have counted. But in terms of the longest, I would say Little Women. I have read that now since, but it doesn't say, and I don't remember what Essie said. But I don't think she mentioned whether it had to be a book that you still haven't read. If it is, I apologise. And the answer for that is, I don't know. But in terms of something I have actually since read, I'd say The First Little Women. Now, there's a bonus, and it's basically some interesting information, and then something that goes with it. So apparently honeybees have 4 wings, and they have 2 bigger ones and then 2 smaller ones. And basically, Essie says that we are to tag 4 booktubers, 2 booktubers that have bigger channels, and then 2 booktubers that have smaller channels, or, you know, smaller than the bigger YouTubers. The thing is, I don't really know the subscriber counts of anyone particularly. I know some are considered bigger YouTubers, so I assume that they've got, you know, bigger numbers. Like I know Ashina, you know, she's quite a big YouTuber for the Christian booktube community. But I don't actually know. I don't actually know the subscriber counts of anyone. Yes. What I think I might do is I think I might just tag 4 people and just hope for the best. We've all got different size channels anyway. I just hope that at least 2 out of the 4 are either bigger or smaller than the other 2. And, you know, just have to hope for the best. You see, this is the one problem with filming on your phone. Unless you're fortunate to have 2 phones, like maybe you have one for your work or whatever, you can check, you know. But that isn't my situation, so yes. I had better actually write these down in case I forget who I've tagged. I am aware that I will be rewatching this when I'm editing, but even then I would be needing to write them down, so I might as well just write them down now. Then it's done, isn't it? You know. So the 4 people I'm going to tag. I'm going to tag the 4 YouTubers who I hope are half and half bigger, half smaller. I'm going to tag Cheryl from the Candlewick Library, Alma from Alma's Book Journey, Alysha, I think it's Alysha from For the Love of Faith and Fiction, and I think that's Alysha. Sorry, I'm doing these all off the top of my head because I can't look at who I'm following and stuff, so I apologise. I'll write the name down if it's the wrong name. And Whitney from Whitney's Reading Journey. So I will tag all 4 of you down below. I'm sure there's no rush if you can't do it straight away, but I've tagged you in this anyway. And yeah, that's it for the actual answering questions, etc. Thank you, Essie, for creating this tag. I think it's really fun. Yeah, if anyone else wants to join in with this tag, please feel free to do so. You know, the 4 lovely ladies I've tagged aren't the only ones who can join in if they want to. Any of you can. So, you know, consider yourself tagged if you would like to join in. And I will leave Essie's channel and the actual video of her talking about this tag down below. Yeah, thank you for watching. You know what to do if you haven't already. The liking, subscribing, the commenting, all that jazz. And I will see you next week. Bye. Oh, and God bless.